Alright guys, so this is going to be Big Odin, and the thing about Big Odin is that we're looking to play a lot of creatures that make it so that we don't end up fizzling out in the late game. A lot of the aggressive Odin lists, what they do is they run very aggressive creatures, and then towards the end of the game, sometimes they just run out of cards, and that's where your opponents are able to turn the game around and defeat you. So we're looking to have more game against some of those larger mid-range lists, with a lot of Ra and a lot of Hindu going around where they have, you know, mid to late game pretty much on lock, and they're able to make it through the early game. We want to make sure we have some kind of ways to deal with that. So we're going to start off with this. You know, double Odin. Omen is just insane. All those Omens have variable uses. Even just the 2 damage to win games, we play it quite a bit, and we're happy to see that. Crippling Curse is another card that is insanely good. You're always going to play this in almost every Odin deck you can. It's on the level of things like Execute and Decay, where it's a super efficient removal spell. So we're happy with that. You know, pretty staple. You know, the Rat, very stable, 2-drop. It's a 2/3 for 2 mana. You actually don't see that many units with those kind of stat lines. That also has the ability to sometimes just do 3 damage to a single target, or he's able to, you know, peel off and deal an extra damage to, for instance, a token. So he's good. Gift of Moonin, this is another card that's going to help us keep those cards flowing. If at any point we have less cards than our opponents when we cast it, we're able to draw a card. You got to be careful, because if you have the same amount of cards as your opponent and you're counting on when you cast this card to have less, that doesn't work. So you have to actually have to have a full less card before you cast it. Runestone of Ire, the best card in Odin. You're always playing 2 of this card. Giving your units charge makes it so that you're able to create the tempo for the game. You're able to play your big units and kill their smaller units before they have any way to, you know, buff their smaller units or move them in a different way. So, Runestone of Ire, staple. Scotty, huge stats, right? We get 2/3, and then we also get a 3/3 for 4 mana total. And you can split up how you want to cast that, which just makes it really great in half of its range. So, Scotty, pretty much an all-star shooter. This card is insane. It's a 1/4 stat, so it's very difficult to kill. Most of the spells in this game do 3 damage until you start getting into those very, very late game turns. It makes our tokens able to, you know, do 2 damage. So as far as this card allows your entire board to just do more damage, as well as being a 1/4 that's also going to do damage that turn because of his charge. So you're able to play him, get him into things. A lot of times you'll see this card do even upwards of like 6 damage in a single turn because, you know, you have units around him and then you move him to get around him with other units as well. Gladiator, there's not really much more to say about this card. Reduces your hero power to 0. You play it on 4. You get 5 power worth of guys in play. You know, 1 of it is charge. And then for the rest of the game that he stays in play, you get that value. Poisonous Hydra. This card is another card that most people at this point know how good it is. It creates insane tempo advantages for you. You play your 4/4 Hydra, and your opponent gets poisoned. Which means they have a card in their hand that does 4 damage to them for as long as that card is in their hand at the end of their turn. It costs 2 mana to cast. So if you play this on curve, what happens is you play the Poisonous Hydra, and then your opponent has the option of playing out that poison and not evolving their board, which means most of the time you're ahead on board, so your 4/4 Hydra is going to kill them. Or they have to play units to keep up with the 4/4 Hydra so they don't lose the board, and then the poison in their hand kills them. Namkhun Warrior, the reason we're playing this card actually over War Behemoth, even though a lot of people so far today have even said, you know, play War Behemoth is better, is that this card is in a different situation. We're often looking to cast this card and then run all the units we have into play into stuff, to then start drawing up into that later game. You know, when you play War Behemoth, you don't get to instantly draw, and then your opponent gets the option of whether they want to attack your cards before you get a draw. So what you're looking here instead is just to play and then start trading all of your guys, even if it's unfavorable, so that we're able to get into our later game, because we do have a late game in this deck. We have Double Venator. You know, it's great on 1/1s and on 2/1s. It's great to make 3 of 5 Surters. This card is just an all-star. It's a lot of stats for 5 mana. It's a 5/3 range to start with, and then you get an additional basic Fire Imp's worth of stats at haste speed. Freya, another insanely good tempo card. Does 2 damage to up to 3 units, and it also banishes them if they don't die. The fact that you're banishing them means your units can move through the banished units, and then you're also able to then start getting your board presence known, so that, say you play the Freya, right, and you were to target all 3 toughness creatures with it, when those creatures come back, it's now your turn again, which means that if you have 1/1s in play, you're able to, you know, get a turn to position them. You're also able to make 1/1 during your turn to get the better trades. Curse Dragon, this is the new addition to the card. It's a 0.33 exclusive. And the thing about that is that it'll create a line of poison down a row. So, down a column, sorry. It's great against Hindu, where they have all the pillars in the back line. It's great against some of these other decks that are hiding their units to try to get away from your more powerful stuff going on. So a lot of decks like Bellona, for instance, which sit all their units in the back, or Ra, which sit all their units in the back, Curse Dragon is the great answer to them. They have the 3-4 units in the back, you slam Curse Dragon, you poison all of their units, and now most of the time those units are ranged, so they're not even able to make it to your core to get the damage in. So then you just hold back, you wait for them all to die. And anywhere where around the column where you haven't left a unit poisoned, that leaves a pool, which if they play anything on that, will then become poisoned. Leaving Hydra, this card is a 5/5 for 7. It can only take 1 damage at a time. You play it, it's one of the best late game cards in the game, basically. Same with Fire Giant. Creates two 1s with charge, which oftentimes can actually just kill your opponent. If you're able to ever have a runestone when you play this card, that's 9 damage that turn, and a huge amount of stats that all has charge. So that is going to be basically the entire deck. I call it Big Odin because we are playing that bigger late game. And there you guys go. Alright, so the old gauntlets are coming back. Awesome. Awesome. There's some of the ones I definitely built decks up for, but I didn't get a chance to play them because the queue times for some of them were kind of late because I got on at odd times a day. And I didn't want to stream waiting for 5-minute queues. That being said, all that kind of stuff will be fixed as soon as we get more players in. I've got the beasts. Oh, I linked the beasts, though. I linked the beast deck there, guys. In the chat, beast is linked. I personally don't believe in playing Inferno in the deck. I think Dragon King is good enough, and I don't want too many of those cards in my opening hand by accident, because that's the way you're going to lose games and lose consistency. So that's why we kind of play our beast deck the way we have it set up right now.
I will welcome this planet into enlightenment. Valhalla beckons you.
We don't want this one, we can't play it. We want more options for the early game. Venator is actually pretty solid against Ra, though. And our turn's gonna look like Rat and a Shooter, and then Coin Venator. Yeah, that's good enough. Just say hold on to that card. And that's one of those things, guys, that I do have a video on my YouTube that goes over how to properly mulligan. I've been asked it quite a few times. You know, there's definitely gonna be matchup dependent things that I haven't gone over in there, but most of the main stuff stays there.
And I'm all out flowers.
Like, for instance, we're choosing to use our mana potion as a way to smooth out our curve so we don't miss any turn. But then we did draw Gladiator and Scotty. How do we do this? We're gonna hope he doesn't have Khepri here to make that Sobek a monster. That being said, the Khepri won't heal his core because the Khepri doesn't deal damage to cores, it only does damage to units. And then it'll heal all friendlies, so it will heal a core if it's damaged. So it's an important thing to keep in mind when you're trying to count out Thoth shots, when you're trying to count out how big a certain unit's going to be at the end of some kind of chain of plays. With Khepri involved, on whether or not your summoning stone is already damaged or not. Oh, man. Oh, this isn't right. How did this happen? Oh, no, it is right. We're good. There's like a really weird spot we're in the game where we're like kind of jockeying for position. But we don't want to deal damage until we're ready to deal damage. Because we deal damage to that stone, so that gets like larger and larger. We're now hitting that critical mass though of like units and size that we don't care. You know what I mean? Our goal is going to be get him dead soon. You lose everything to elephant? Okay, Mad Zero. In that deck list setup that I lifted there, go to the raw deck. That raw deck will beat the elephant majority of the time. Oh, I super meant to cast Vanator first, so that was great. It's in there, man. It's in the link, dude. Click on the link. My opponent just drew like 10 cards and got a 6 Sobek activation. So now his Sobek is like a monster. Yeah. I would say like one of the biggest things that'd be nice is if they just put how many cards are in people's hands like right in here maybe. Same here for like us, so we know. But I'm not actually sure. It really is difficult to count those cards now.
Bathe the glow.
MVP-inator, let's go. We want to draw Namcom Warrior off the top right now. That's what we want to see. We want to just see Namcom Warrior come down, draw us 3 cards, and be pretty happy. You know.
Bathe the glow.
We're so good at this game. Number 1, the best player ever known to ever play. Got those 2 cards for free. He's gonna probably play Annihilation here. Oh, Anubis. If he had played the Anubis back one, he could have gotten the thing, but he's trying to draw more cards. How many more cards are you trying to draw? Oh. Okay, he didn't. That's interesting. Yeah, no problem. No problem, Mad Zero, no problem. Ah, the second Capri gets me again! Now my opponent is actually risking dying from card draw. I don't know how to pronounce that, guys, I'm gonna be honest. It did suspect the execute. That's alright though. We taxed their mana 5. And we got kind of what we wanted to get done that turn done anyway. There's a high likeliness they have. I want to deal with this. I really don't want this card active in play. Most of the time when you play this card, you are looking to get that value basically immediately. Yeah, I'm getting baited here. He doesn't want to draw cards anymore, and we've allowed him now not to draw cards if he doesn't. If he wants to use this heal. Okay, yeah, there was the punish right there. That being said, we live that Hydra life. That's certainly not good enough. Scotty is such a monster with Runestone of Ire, so we're gonna hope we actually get an opportunity to use this Scotty's with this Runestone. Alright, so our opponent has basically been taxed from the poison. Well, we have taxed from the poison this next turn, and was, okay. Yeah, that's just game.
We defeat our enemies, or we return to Valhalla.
Good game.
Alright, let's see. Let's get into some more games. We're just going to take this deck until we've kind of perfected it a little bit. I do think it's in a really good spot, though, right now. I'm not sure how many more cards I would actually be able to change in this deck. It's just running very strong. You know, we have game against basically everybody, which is what you're looking for most of the time. You know, as your guys' skill level grows and that kind of stuff, playing the decks that can be a little bit more difficult, but will reward you in more matchups is nice.
Valhalla beckons you.
The warring of gods has endangered these lands.
There we go, that's a nicer curve. I like that a lot better. I do like checking to see who I'm playing against. And yeah, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, definitely check out the rest of my stuff. You know, I just posted into we have our own Twitch channel at NPC_Naut. So if you like it, definitely go follow us there. You know, follow us on Twitter as well. We'll have a bunch of different events going on soon. And then also, you know, go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, like it. We got a lot of info there, and guides and decks. Ooh. It's gotta be placeholder here, right? Yeah. Yeah, this is coming down next turn for that free hero power. Super sweet. We don't want to let that guy stick around. Alright, we're deviating from the course, guys. Unfortunately, leaving a Stone Guardian up makes it get very powerful very quickly. We don't want to be in that world. There's 150. Thank you very much for the follow. We had a lot of very reasonable options that last turn. You know, we could play Poisonous Hydro, we could buff our guy, and then trade it into the White Tiger. But I decided I wanted to get down the extra units against beasts and really try to pressure their life total if we're able to. You know, if we're able to grab a hold of the board from just having more units, we can often snowball that into a victory.
Let's not call attention to it.
You know, we can play these guys in the next couple turns and still keep getting that free hero power for the rest of the game. Oh. Kind of tasty. Give me this board. This board's mine. You get nothing. Can you use one Yena? Which one's a hyena? Yes, we use the one hyena is just to give us a little bit of extra value when we hit it with the spider. A lot of times you're looking to have early drops in that deck because you can't use your hero power to give you kind of any kind of real value in the early game. So you need to have units in play. So that is exactly why we play the one hyena. That being said, there have been times I've cut it from the deck when it's not good enough and we're looking to do something else. But often it is going to be strong enough. Poison 8's though and us down. We're just gonna chug right on through. Because yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, what he's talking about is the interaction between Arachnia and Hyena. Arachnia creates a 1/1 spider every turn, and the important part about that 1/1 spider is that it actually is a beast. And in this game, no matter where the unit comes from, if there's an effect that says, like, for instance, if a unit comes into play, or if a unit, whatever, it doesn't matter where it came from, as long as it happens. So you start getting some really good value, because you're able to make that Hyena +1/+1 every single turn, as long as that Arachnia is in play. Just get rid of this guy. Alright, we'll tax them back, the Hydra.
These need to be taught a lesson.
I mean, we're pretty happy to just see this coming down and not doing much, right?
Transform!
We defeat our enemies, or we return to Valhalla.
Drawing that card works for me. Let's see.
Better to keep a low profile.
Get out of my way, we're coming in with big damages. So guys, if you guys want to beat up on Beast Nua, this is probably one of the decks for it. We've beaten them quite a few times now. Ooh, that was painful.
Let's not call attention to ourselves.
We lost the lives of a lot of good 1/1s there.
I want to conquer this land, and I always get what I want.
We were originally going to deal 2 damage to that guy and run a 1/1 into it, but that option has been taken from us. I can do a 2/2, crack this, and then I get cracked back. Whatever. Yeah, I think that's probably the better play. Should have played this guy 1-up more. Him being forward is actually really important here because we were going to attack with him this next turn. Which our opponent sitting at 5 life, getting that 4 damage in is a huge difference. Yeah, man. Well, definitely remember that you can also hit Blight from watching streams as long as you're connected. As long as you connect your Hi-Rez account and your Twitch account, and you're watching any of the streamers, you're actually able to potentially get Blight from a drop, which is pretty sweet. Alright, well he has only 1 card, there's no way I ever get less cards than 1 in hand. considering it would count towards itself.
Oh, Calder, who's the best destroyer of gods?
I'm here to crack nuts, pick flowers.
We're just looking to
And I'm all
reduce
out
as
of
many
that.
units onto the board at this point as possible to try to end our opponent.
Time to sleep.
Oh, I suppose this is another fine day for a battle.
It's a good one. I'll take it. Sounds definitely didn't
Better
feel
to
pretty
keep a
for
low
us,
profile.
but our opponent needs to, yeah, as I say, he needs to remove that wolf or he's going to lose the game here. So we'll do attack the diagonal, and then use this wrap around to kill this guy and just come in for 5. Yeah.
Reincarnation is a wonderful gift.
As you see, guys, that pool just sticks in the ground there until it's taken up by something. Look at the model for this dragon. This dragon is excellent. Everything about this card is so good. Yeah, no problem. Wow, J Nasty. We're happy to hang around and have some fun.